President Donald Trump signed a sweeping legislative package, which he has dubbed the Big Beautiful Bill, into law during a 4th of July celebration at the White House. The signing took place on the lawn during a picnic for military families, marked by a flyover from a B-2 Spirit bomber and 2 F-35 fighter jets. Key Republican leaders, including House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune, attended the event. Before signing, the president declared it the most popular bill ever signed in the history of our country. The bill is a major political victory for the administration, consolidating much of its domestic agenda by enacting new tax cuts and funding for border security. But the bill's passage is also galvanizing the political opposition. The Democratic National Committee on Friday launched a new messaging campaign arguing that President Trump is killing the American dream. Party officials plan to tie the president directly to recent price hikes, market volatility, and the anticipated impacts of the Republican-backed spending bill. The DNC's campaign will target 35 Republican-held congressional districts to win back voters ahead of the 2026 midterms. DNC Chair Ken Martin stated, "Republicans own this mess, and it's an albatross around their necks." Democrats are pointing to a Congressional Budget Office analysis that estimates the new law will increase the federal deficit by $2.4 trillion over 10 years. They also cite projections that the bill could lead to cuts in Medicaid, food assistance, and education grants, and could eliminate over 1 million jobs by 2029. This new push comes despite some signs of economic resilience, including a recent Labor Department report showing strong job growth and a decline in the unemployment rate to 4.1%. While Democrats focus on the new law, the Trump administration is engaged in another high-profile confrontation with the state of California. The feud between the White House and Governor Gavin Newsom has escalated on multiple fronts. This week, President Trump signed resolutions ending California's rules for diesel engines and its mandate to ban the sale of new gasoline-powered cars by 2035. The president called the state's plan ridiculous, noting California already struggles with blackouts. The move overturns a special waiver granted to the state by the previous administration. In response, Governor Newsom's office called it an all-out assault on California and announced a lawsuit. This follows other environmental disputes, including reports the administration may revoke national monument status from 2 natural areas in the state. The conflict also extends to a years-long battle over water management and wildfires, with the president blaming Newsom for poor policy. The clashes over immigration policy have been particularly intense. Riots recently broke out in Los Angeles after federal law enforcement conducted raids to deport illegal immigrants. President Trump then deployed 2,000 National Guard members to the city, bypassing the governor, which prompted California to file a lawsuit. The Department of Justice has also filed its own suit against Los Angeles for its sanctuary city policies. Attorney General Pam Bondi said such policies were the driving cause of the violence. Beyond that, the administration is targeting California's social policies. The Justice Department has opened a probe into the state over potential Title IX violations regarding its policy on transgender athletes in girls' sports. Meanwhile, the Department of Health and Human Services has given California's federally funded sex education program 60 days to remove all references to gender identity or risk losing its funding. Finally, the administration has put California's high-speed rail project on notice, calling for an audit and proposing that $4 billion in federal grants be terminated. Even as the administration takes a hard line on immigration enforcement, President Trump has signaled a more flexible approach for the agricultural sector. Speaking at the Iowa State Fair, the president indicated he was open to legislation that would allow illegal immigrant farm workers to continue their work if a farmer vouches for them. Referring to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, the president said, "If a farmer is willing to vouch for these people, I think we're going to have to just say that's going to be good." The comments suggest a potential carve-out for the agricultural industry aimed at preventing disruptions to the nation's food supply, a sector highly dependent on immigrant labor. From domestic policy to long-term national security, the administration is also looking decades ahead to reshape the future of American air power. The Pentagon is moving forward with a new generation of sixth-generation aircraft designed to ensure U.S. air dominance. At the forefront is Northrop Grumman's B-21 Raider, a next-generation stealth bomber poised to become the backbone of America's long-range strike capability. Designed to be optionally manned and significantly more affordable than its predecessor, the B-21 is seen as critical for deterring strategic threats. The Air Force plans to acquire at least 100 of the new bombers, and flight tests are underway. In the skies alongside it will be the newly designated F-35, the Air Force's next manned fighter jet. The program will produce an aircraft with advanced stealth and the ability to act as a quarterback for a team of AI-enabled drones. To fund the F-47, the Pentagon is decreasing its request for F-35s in the upcoming budget. In contrast, the Navy's own sixth-generation fighter program, the F/A-XX, is moving at a much slower pace, with minimal funding and uncertainty over whether it will proceed. These ambitious programs face significant hurdles, including budget pressures, and a debate within the Pentagon over whether manned fighters will become obsolete in the age of AI. Furthermore, some defense analysts are questioning the future viability of aircraft carriers themselves, given the growing threat from long-range hypersonic missiles.